Hey everybody, my name is Inara Griffin and I'm here with the New Earth Visionaries. And we're a team, each in our own distinct style. We work together. We already have businesses independently. And we're coming together to handle a topic which is all about customer expectations, like client expectations, how they think, how you think you're going to grow your business, and then really what we receive on the other end. And we want to just handle some of the mythology behind it. So I'd love the other two to introduce themselves. So, Bev, do you want to say something about who you are, what you do?
Hello, everyone. My name is Beverly. I've been a digital marketer for just well over 14 years now. And I'm generally focusing on events and also when it comes to creating automation and system for your businesses.
And hi, I'm Sally Shakti. I do the copywriting for events and festivals online for spiritual entrepreneurs. Um, my background is as a poet and performer, and I help visionaries align your words with your heart purpose to connect you with your clients.
Great. And so I'll just say a few words about myself. So I've been a spiritual business coach for about 20 years, and I've run through different businesses. Some of them are very solid building businesses, literally, like I worked in the property business. And I've also run over, it's coming up to 70 retreats, and four yoga festivals, and we're up to about 25 digital online events. So my thing is also events, but it's how you get your message out as an entrepreneur in any field. I work with visionaries, so the New Earth Visionaries is all about helping or guiding visionaries to become New Earth influencers. And we can talk about that in a different way, but I think what I would say is I'm the strategist, I'm the overall picture maker, I'm the one who will take you to the edges of your comfort zone and take you over the edge of the comfort zone. So you're hanging out in this world of possibility and you're not going back. You're not retreating back every time you feel the pressure or the expansion of growth, which can be definitely in three areas that come up all the time. So my clients are always dealing with an issue around either time, money, or am I good enough? And that, in a nutshell, is it. That's all I ever deal with. Am I good enough? Am I good enough for this bit? Am I good enough to work with that person? Or do I have enough time? I've got a really busy family. Maybe I'll just tailor it, keep it in, keep it in. Or money, why should I invest in myself? Why should I invest in business? Same questions come up again and again and again. So we run events production, and I would be the first person that you would meet in that category. And then we would talk as a team, and then you get to meet us and describe the different issues that you've got. And some of you often don't think you've got those issues. So I want to talk about a number one thing that's come up very recently. People like myself who are sort of star profiles or creators, they're up front. They're always easy on the content creation. They can constantly come up with new ideas and they might be very creative. So I meet people who, like myself, have, say, done a lot of writing and they might be super creative in their writing. And then they have to handle the funnel. And the writing in the funnel it's a totally different animal. And so I've just done one with working with Bev, and I didn't ask for help with Sally Shakti, but it's like the last time I'll ever do this. It wasn't the same as my creative flowing writing. And me, because I'm so busy, just like another client, I suddenly said to her, "Oh, I think you're going to find this so hard. You're doing three funnels." So let's talk about that. So I don't know which one of you wants to step into like the amount of work there is in a funnel, and maybe Bev could describe what a funnel is.
Right. Okay. So just very quickly, what funnel is it's a bit of a jargon, isn't it, in the marketing world? But think of it really as your system. the automated system that works for your business, because we don't want to be always working, you know, in our business, right? We don't want to be always be the one selling manually. So if you want to sell your program, your coaching services and stuff like that, you have to invest into something like a funnel. So basically, a funnel is like your salesperson that is taking your customer's hand on every step of the way. So that the people often get confused. Well, I already have a website. Isn't that enough? Of course, you need a website in your business, right? Website is where everything is. But funnel is a very specific step, specific journey that you take your customer in. And like Inara said, it is not just, you know, simply writing. When you create a funnel, it's intentional. You have to really think of your customer journey, and that's where the, you know, the system, the mechanics on it, where I come from, because that's what I love. By the way, before I was a marketer, I was a graduate of computer science, so technology is my thing, and marrying it with marketing is just this amazing thing that I like, enjoy so much. So other than the mechanics behind the funnel, like how, say, what do they see when they click here, what kind of email they get, the automation, the tagging. I know it's like, maybe for a lot of you it's a jargon, but that's why you need, you know, you need person who talk that language, and you need a person like Sally Shakti who took a different sort of magical language as well. And that's where, you know, like Inar said, funnel writing is completely different just than creative writing. So yeah, funnel really is the system, the automation behind your business that helps you grow it and scale it. So I think I'll pass over to Sally. What's the difference of, you know, writing in a funnel?
Oh, thanks, Bev. I really loved two of the words that you said there. In fact, one of the words that you said, and one word that came up through what both you and Inara were speaking about. You said it was intentional. And what we're really speaking about here is relationship building. So that's where the copywriting is a different kind of writing for the funnel. The funnel copy is about creating that intentional relationship with your clients, and supporting them through that journey. It's like, I like to think about it as creating different sacred spaces in the online world. So there would be, you might create a space that is like your healing room, or your treatment center, your yoga studio. Your funnel is like the reception area, and it's like your reception area and the person who has come out specifically to meet your clients, greet them, welcome them, show them what's on offer, take them through the door, and lead them into their first class with you.
I think that's such a fantastic way of putting it. I've never heard anyone describe it like that. But often entrepreneurs are so busy with, you know, what next they need to do, they really lose sight of the customer journey. And it's like flipping the view of, it's not about you, it's about your customer. It's 150% about your customer. So when you have those experiences, like for instance, I was mentioning recently to somebody saying, of all those big monster techie kind of companies that you deal with online, the one that stands out for me with customer service is GoDaddy. And I've bought a number of domains through them. They are always available for somebody to speak to. They will always problem solve as a human to a human. It's not just some awful chat bot that then can't answer the question, right? So you're left cold. Then you're scrolling through endless things to try and find a phone number, of which there isn't any. So now I just Google straight into, what is the phone number for X, Y, and Z? And I said this to one of their guys. This is Phoenix, by the way. He's the head of production here. And I said this to one of their guys, like, I just have to praise you so much for your customer service. It's astonishing when I'm that busy, and I really am going through a minefield of trying to find something. And so when you think about funnels, The funnel is the nice automation that moves things forward effortlessly, flowing you. So if you make a choice on, let's say, you come onto a website, you've never seen us before, and you want to get to know a bit more about us, and you watch, say, a little video that I've done, and then you want to get to know a little bit of something about the other two. Well, the funnel would lead you naturally. There would be automation to lead you to see other videos. If you want to see one but not the other because you're specifically interested in, let's say, copywriting at this moment in time, it would allow you to just go there and then put Park Bev as another option later. But you don't have to have that conversation. You're thinking ahead of your customer, and you're thinking of every eventuality, and all of that automation is taking place for you. So if you are front end like I am, it's just happening. Now, the piece that you need to get is that you have to pay for it, right? So there's a certain level in business. Babies in business, or people who've just started a very new business, will always have this question. Oh, I can always do it on my own. And the question is, do I need somebody else? Well, speaking into that space, when I coach anybody, the first thing I say is, do you have an assistant? So that's the first thing. Do you have somebody who handles all of your tech? Mostly, even if these entrepreneurs are like quite far on their journey, they will say no, they don't. They might have somebody handling emails, and that's about it. So the leap for them to think, ooh, there's this piece that I need to pay for. There's also this piece that I need to organize, because it's like we have to organize you. That's what our team does. We organize you so that you create the best of the business for you. In the end, really, we work so much with people who are front end, and they just need the whole back end covered. So the expectation at that point is, well, can't I just do it on my own? And I would just like to open the floor to this. I would say you are moving out of the era of the lone entrepreneur. We've already moved out of it. If you want true success, like epic, massive, quantum success, then the first thing you should be looking at is you should only be working in an area of passion, not even excellence, passion. So top note, what do you love doing? And then everybody else in your team should be doing the top note of what they love doing, covering all the angles that you can't stand doing, or that you, in a different way of saying it, you lose energy. It's a drain on your energy. So when I had to do this funnel recently of, I'm launching a new course, it's an online course, and I'm working with 2 other parties. So it's joint venture marketing. In their own right, just like Bev and Sally Shakti, they have their own businesses. But the conversation between us, it's much bigger, and there's a specificity to it that I couldn't do on my own without these other guys in there, these other women and guys. And so we came to a place of doing this joint venture marketing, and stupidly, knowing all of this information, she said, I'll write the copy. And why not? Because I'm good at writing. I've written books. But when it came to the mechanics of this clunky, endless, like, if the customer clicks here and then they don't go ahead with a purchase, or they don't go ahead with a decision, then there's 3 emails fired off, not all in a sequence, but there's a flow that might get them back to looking at something. I mean, this is just not my thing. And I thought I would get through this in a week. It's taken me 2 months. 2 months. And every time I approach that task, I feel a loss of power. I feel a loss of energy. It's been interesting, let's put it that way, but it's been a total drain. And we're almost finished that one. Like next week we'll finish. But because I've had 2 other people that I need to get them to do all of their pieces as well, the project that I thought would take initially 3 months, actually we're stretching out 6 months in the doing of it, in the delivery, and then it's not the right time to launch. So I'm waiting till September, so it's an 8-month 8 month thing that, I imagined as the entrepreneur, oh, that's a 3 month thing. We'll just nail that. So maybe you guys want to talk about that. That's expectations. Even myself get caught up in that. So who would like to, yeah, go for it, Sally Shakti?
Yeah, thanks, Inara. I'd just love to pick up on that a couple of things. One is it's my absolute biggest frustration when other entrepreneurs who love writing come in and to do the copywriting for themselves, because, like you said, that it's a different kind of writing. I love what Bev said about it. It's intentional, and it has a very specific purpose. But I want to pick up on what you said about time and timing as well there. This is a very significant expectation also that people tend to come into these projects with, that once they've handed over and say, okay, now Sally Shakti is going to do the copywriting. It's my area of expertise, and it's just going to flow onto the screen and it will be ready for you within 24 hours. It still takes time. I can do it quicker. And I have a team working with me as well. And we have those systems in place. But it still takes time to create that copy, and then to another expectation I think that's important to manage and to bring in is that the copy creation is an iterative process. And what I mean by that is it takes several stages. The first draft of what even me as a professional and my team creates isn't necessarily going to be what ends up on the final page or on your email sequence, because we're going to work through that together, you and I, as you as the client, and myself as the copywriting manager. We're going to work through that together to make sure that the final draft is the right draft. So that might also take several processes to move through that. And as a professional writer, I have become much more aware of writing as a process, that we don't just sit down at the laptop and suddenly what comes out onto the page is what's going to be the finished product. There is going to be versions of that we work through and work with, and that we can have a conversation around that. It's not, when I send a draft, I'm not expecting that necessarily to be the final version. There's going to be a conversation around that. So the timing piece for the copy is I would say a lot longer than you expect. I would put a minimum of 1 month into that process, and for a bigger funnel, for a bigger launch, up to 3 months.
Yeah, go for it, Bev.
I think I like the conversation about being intentional, because I think the other expectation that I am kind of experiencing with some of my clients as well, with regards to building their funnel or their automation, is that, like we said, creating this system, it has to be intentional. But what tend to happen is, we are amazing people. We've got loads of ideas. Like, we have this vision, like, we're visionaries, right? But we tend to, like Inara said, forget about the customer's journey. So we're like, we'll start with one thing, and then we'll end up after a few calls with 10 things. And that's I think that's what we need to really think of when we're building something like a launch. We cannot just throw in all of our ideas all together. We need to be able to organize it. That's where Inara is, like, really organizing your thoughts, because it does technology is amazing. You can do anything you want, but it doesn't mean we have to do everything we want, because at the end of the day, it's a strategy, right? It's a strategy, and we need to follow that process. um it's not because you want this thing done, we're gonna get it done. Like, we really need to think, what's your customer's journey is. Are you just confusing them by offering 10 different products instead of just one or two? So, but no, I want to give them this as well and this as well, and that's amazing, because you are a generous a generous person. Like, you want to serve as much as you want, but at the end of the day, we need to we need to fit a strategy. It's marketing still. At the end of the day, it's marketing, right? And there's a strategy behind it, and that would really impact your conversion, and it would really impact your customer journey, of course. So yeah, I think I just like want to put it out there, because yeah, intention, it has to be intentional. What is your intention in this launch? And we make the best of it in order for for your business to grow on whatever that program or that service that you wanted to offer at that time. So I think what I'm saying is, we just need to like step on a break a little bit when it comes to our generosity to our clients, and when it comes to our ideas, like have it organized, have it strategically offered to them.
And that comes up to the next point, that what we have observed, all three of us, at the same time, which is why we came up with this conversation, is actually those of you who are newer, you might have been in business for a long time, but you haven't thought in this way. So you haven't thought of the strategic, lengthy time that you need to get your customers to know you or clients to know you. So I always talk about this piece as being connection is currency. The more connected you are, the more authentic you are with whatever messaging that you have, even if it's bizarre and out there, which mine certainly has been over the years, but I never sway from it. That I talk about things that I will always work with a spiritual operating system, even in the highest level business I'm doing. And when I first started talking about that, it was a bit weird. I used to always defer over to the business, not to the spiritual, because I thought it would be received more well. Actually, the opposite is true. The more I speak authentically into this spiritual methodology that I have, the more people who are the right clients for me will come forward. Now, when they come forward, I've been in this game for a long time. So I don't have a consistency of doing Facebook Lives. I don't have a consistency of doing public speaking, but both of those are my favorite things to do. I love public speaking. So wherever I have shown up, what tends to happen is there are people who will have followed me or listened to a message then. Some, let's say 20% of those, might show their face at the time. I might be aware of them at the time. But 80% don't. And they don't say anything. They don't show up they don't interact in the Facebook Lives I do. They don't come and say hi to me or anything. They don't communicate. And those are my main customers, right? So how is it that you develop this relationship with being say you're changing a path and you're going from one career to another. We're working with somebody right now who's been a doctor, and she's moving her whole thing into being an online coach. And so that audience of being the doctor is not going to be the right audience, right? And she's a highly experienced, intelligent woman, but they are not going to be the audience. Maybe a few would be. So as we bridge the gap and start to nurture the audience, the nurture piece actually is the connection piece. It's like how you show up. Can people rely on you? Do they like what you say? Consistency of message, authenticity. And then that piece cannot be quantified. It actually needs to go on and on and on and on and on, like and on. And so when we get some of you guys coming forward, you haven't done any of the nurture. You've got an old audience, you've got a small list, and I want to talk about that. There are actually conversion rates which you can look at, which is very much Bev's thing and Sally Shakti's. So let's go to Bev first on that. So what happens when we deliver a client who's in that? She's either, or he is a new business, or somebody who's transitioning, and they don't have much of a list. What would you say goes on there with expectations?
Okay. When it comes to building your funnel, there is this thing that they called value ladder. So in value ladder, you basically have to make sure that you are offering the right offerings at each step of your ladder. Like, say, if you have not done anything at all, you cannot just put them jump, you cannot expect them to jump onto your highest bit of the ladder. So in this ladder, you have, your free offer, where you give value. You give your value, you give value and give more value. Like, in our said, you can go Facebook lives, perhaps your blog, or if you have a podcast or whatever it is that you content, a free, a free checklist or a lead magnet. Basically, it all starts there, and then you climb them up on your, on your next ladder, which could come with your, signature offer, like a little bit midpoint of your offering, and then to your highest offer. It could be a one-on-one coaching, a high ticket, and stuff like that. So if someone you don't know you at all, have not heard of you at all, your cold audiences, there's no contact between you and that client. You cannot expect them to immediately pay you the highest offer, right? You need to be able to nurture them. And what happens is, when we have clients that are okay, so I want to offer people this, but who are we targeting? It's cold audience, and you're offering them your highest package. The expectation is, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect on their expectation there. So you need to show up. You need to be known by these people before you even, you know, ask for their wallet. Because you cannot just expect, when you're going out in the street and say, "Hey, pay me this much." Like, who are you? People would say, "What?" Right? You need to let them know what are you offering, why it's good for them, and it happens through that nurture sequence. So it's amazing how we do the events, right? It's like one of our first door. Like, you do this event, and then they get to know you there, and then from there you nurture them, you kind of build that connection, that relationship that Shakti mentioned. You build that relationship with them before you even try convert them. So yeah, I think for me, you need to really know where you are right now and your clients when it comes to your value ladder.
Yeah, and I would say that the issue there is timing, because often people think, I want to do an event, and I am so pro event, I cannot tell you. Like, in terms of my business strategy, events are always part of it. They're key to, like, generously giving some information. People get to witness you, see you as an expert. Maybe you're interviewing people, so they see your style, your flow, they get all of that piece learned and known. But then there's a piece after it. You just don't necessarily go straight from an event to, "Hey, buy this now, buy this now." You want them to simmer and marinate in the goodness and the juiciness of the event, and then to start the nurture sequence. And the thing about that, which I'll bring Sally Shakti in on, is it's quite a long nurture sequence to get to know people. So if you're in your first year of business, or you've just gone in with a new idea, I think there is a good rule of thumb that you're talking high expenditure front end. And this is the model for money I want to give you. Rather than thinking in an old school way, money is in the bank. Oh, I made some more, I put it in the bank, it stays there. Oh, and then I did a bit more. Oh, and it stays there, and it still stays there. That is the old energy of money. Money needs to move. So you're reaching in, you're taking it out, you're spending on your business, you're reaching in again, spending on your business, but oh, you've got some clients and they've paid you. Oh, you're reaching in again. So it's more like this kind of feel. And in the first year, it will be, you'll be paying to set all these systems up, and the length of time of nurture needs to be long enough. So when you're sending out all of your, say, the events and the emails, and there's a funnel sequence, it cannot just be sales. Otherwise, it's like the crassest. I remember these awful ads I used to see when I grew up in Canada, and it was used car salesmen, and they go, "Hey, look at this car. Hey, buy it now. Buy it now. Hey, buy it now. And if you buy it in 15 minutes, we'll give you a discount. Buy it now." I mean, it was so offensive, like this. It's the opposite. People want to know about you now. We're in the branding era of the person, the who. And so they want to know who you are before they start to want to know what you sell. And so let's talk about the timing on that, Sally Shakti, because that's a big piece that we encounter. People just think it goes from this and then you sell to a high ticket event.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Inara. And there are a lot of pieces dropping in here now that can make a lot of sense of this for me. The the time it takes to nurture your audience is it's about creating trust, and it's about building a relationship of trust, and that's a two-way relationship. Often that can involve and should involve listening to your clients as well as speaking at them. Email communication and marketing should never be that one way method of communication, even though it can come across that way. It's much more about this open exchange and communication, and the relationship that you're building with your clients. And exactly like Bev said, you don't just, it's a, think of your marketing as that, as that, again, that sacred space. Somebody has come into the reception area of your studio. They want to find out a little bit about what's happening, what's going on, what teacher they resonate with, what maybe they want to try a class. It's a journey of getting to know your client and them getting to know you. So Inara mentioned, marketing is about, it's about you, it's about your clients getting to know you. But actually, what I want to say is flip that, because it's ultimately about them. Why do they want to get to know you? Because they want to know that you are the one who can lead them through the transformation that they need. So they are seeking a particular transformation or initiation at this stage in their life, because I'm assuming that you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you're offering some form of spiritual healing or transformation through your programs. That's why you're working with us. So you are the shaman, you're the initiator, you're the facilitator for their transformation process. If I were to go to a healer or a shaman or somebody who I wanted to initiate me into my next level of growth and expansion and transformation, I would want to know that I was working with somebody who had been on that path and was capable and experienced of guiding me on that path, and had the knowledge and the appropriate expertise, and also that we resonated. I could read a whole list of all of the qualifications and experiences that somebody has, but ultimately, when I'm choosing a spiritual guide, I need to know that I resonate with that person. So if I meet that person face to face, maybe several times, I will get to experience whether or not I resonate with them. Building that kind of a relationship through a funnel is going to take longer, because there's not the same face-to-face exchange. So we build that up gently and gradually, through you getting to know your clients, them getting to know you, and building that relationship of trust, so that they can get to a position where they know that if they invest in your program, then they will receive, or should receive, the healing and transformation that they expect. And I just want to say a little bit more about that expectation and what they're seeking, because this is another level to the copywriting, the way that I do it, which is different from the way that pretty much any other marketers would do the copywriting, because I'm working with that vibrational frequency. Your client is vibrating at a particular frequency, and that is where their particular problem is showing up. That is where they're meeting their current challenge, and so they already know that they are seeking the next frequency. They're seeking the transformation. So those are the frequencies that we also are encoding into the copy when we create it, because that is what is going to magnetize your client at a heart and soul level.
Yeah, profound. Go, Bev.
I just want to add something, because there's just this, you mentioned something about being cars used car salesman, and there's just so much of them. There's just that so much kind of marketing out there at the moment. Hype marketing is what I usually call them. They hype you up just to get you buying. And like Sally Shakti said, you're watching this video, you're probably have a spiritual business, right? And I think it should start with us, that we need to change that. Like, even though I've been a marketer for a really long time, I've seen all kind of strategy like that, like the hype marketing, buy it now, it's give you 15 minutes, you buy it now, or we need to be more like a mindful marketers, mindful business owner. We should really stop squeezing them just, just to get you buying. We need to give more value to them. We need to create more relationship. Marketing is all about relationship, because those clients that gets to buy because you have that 15 minutes time is, there's a lesser opportunity or like lesser chance that they will become a loyal customer to you than those customers that actually learn to trust you. They're the clients, they're the customer that will stay with you for a long time. And I've been in, like I said, in a different industry. I have e-commerce businesses before, and I still have e-commerce businesses. And I do feel those, that people who are just after low prices, for example, if you're just that discount 50%, 80%, 90%, whatever, buy it now. They're not that going to be loyal to you. And we want to build relationship. We need to build loyal customer. And that's where, as Sally Shakti said, that's where you build that communication, you build that connection to them. You give them what they need at that point of time. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Bev. I just want to build on that you've just said, and bring back in two words that Inara mentioned: authenticity and intention. In fact, you've mentioned those as well. It's, for me, actually, it's changing our mindsets, like you said, and it's changing the mindsets with our clients, because there is also a whole branch of spiritual marketing out there who, which is focused on how quickly can you make your next 10K month, how quickly can you make your next six figures. And if that becomes your intention going into the project, then you're putting a very different energy in right from the outset. If your intention is to be authentic and to create relationships and to support and guide your clients through the transformation and the healing that they need, then your marketing will be an extension of your service into the world. And that's really what we're looking to create. I call it ethical and effective marketing, because the way that we build relationships and the way that we communicate, for me, must have an ethical foundation. And for it to be marketing, it must also be effective.
Yes, and I would add in that we often work with people because I'm the front end, and so a lot of people end up coming in through a conversation with me. They have a calling, and it's very different even than a mission. The mission statement, which, if you think about the languaging of mission, is very driven. And this is a very American term, and it comes out of a religious, zealous missionary going to take over somebody else and convert them. That's the energetic of it. We prefer to work with people who have a calling. So what's the energetic of that? They're called forward on their path. They would be remiss if they didn't live up to that. They would feel some kind of unexpressed emotional state if they didn't actually step into their calling. And so even with that difference in the energy, you can imagine that you can be on a calling path and it's calling you forward, and there's a meandering path to it. And at each place that you get to where you're experiencing, let's say, resistance, which is what I deal with a lot. What's the resistance? What's the loss of power in your comfort zone that will prevent you stepping into the next frequency? So I work all the time with frequency, and I really resonate with what Sally Shakti talks about. Mission is this driven, I'm going to get my message across and you're going to buy. And there's something extremely different in what's emerging now in the New Earth era, that people are really starting to see it's not what you're buying, it's not why you're buying, it's who is behind the company. So it'll have all sorts of considerations with ethics, with approach. And think of it like it's a longer game. It's a softer, longer, less driven, much more satisfying game. And you will end up at the end of it with a very, well, with longevity, actually. It's not a burnout approach. It's, divine timing, perfect timing. I work very much with seasons, cycles, and a moon, as well as cycles of sales. So I, bring these two things together. And I don't think there's much more that we need to say about this. We're going to speak on many different topics, actually, and come in and, deliver some guidance at this point and try and help you to understand, well, maybe you need to change your approach a little bit differently, so that you're not just coming in with this hot and sweaty, like you're doing HIIT workout in the marketing world. Instead, you're doing like a long yoga practice in the marketing world, which is a softer approach. Divine feminine is at play, but those connections and joint venture marketing are incredibly successful. So perhaps that's something we can talk about next time. We'll do one on joint venture marketing and how you can collaborate. Does that sound good? That'll be the next one we go to. Okay. So we're doing a series, and if you are interested in developing your spiritual business or business with some ethical, sustainable foundations, then talk to us. Send any of us, if you're seeing it on different platforms, any of us a direct message, and then you'll probably come to me for a strategy call, and I'll talk you through what I think it would take. And all of it is no pressure, but we are an amazing team. This team here, I have to say, this team here, big hug, is an A-lister team. And I used to cut corners and think, I'll just, it would be a little less to work with somebody who's a virtual assistant, in India or whatever. It has worked in filling in holes, but it's very different than working with an A-lister team. It's taken a long time to develop this, and I just trust these guys immensely. And I think the feeling's mutual, isn't it? It's a pleasure working with you ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll love you and leave you and just say namaste until another time. And anything you guys want to say?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Until the next time.